Hello everyone, this is Mario. Welcome to the first episode of my new Pro Cycling Manager career with Groupama FDJ. So this is going to be a debut for me. So far, I've been focusing on doing the real life races that are taking place. But today I will start something new. I will start playing and recording my favorite mode of Pro Cycling Manager, the career mode. And as I said before, I'm going to do this series with Groupama FDJ. For quite a long time, I wasn't sure about the team I was going to choose for this career, but after seeing what happened to Thibaut Pinot during the Tour de France that recently finished, he was forced to abandon at a moment that many thought he was the biggest favorite to win the Tour, and it was really painful to watch him abandon the race. And also, Pinot is a rider that I really enjoy. I think I became a fan of him around the finish of the last season when he took two stage wins at the Vuelta and then won the Lombardia. So those are the main reasons why I chose Groupama FDJ for this career. And of course, my main goal will be to take Thibaut Pinot to the victory in the GC of the Tour de France. I hope I can do it in my first season, but if I cannot, I will try to improve the team so that it can deliver the best conditions possible for Thibaut Pinot to win the Tour. So in this series, I will mainly record World Tour races. I may record a few others if I think they are interesting. And I will do this because I actually want to complete a few seasons in this series. I think it makes the game more interesting. So it's going to be basically World Tour races, a few national championships, and a few other races that I will record. So to begin this series, I will start by showing you the top 5 objectives for our team that are the objectives of our sponsor. And so they want us, the top objective is interestingly not to win the Tour de France. That's the second objective. The top one is to get a top 10 in Paris-Roubaix. So then the second is to win the Tour de France, then to win the Dauphiné, to get a top 5 in Paris-Nice, and to win at least one stage in the Giro d'Italia. As for the objectives of my leaders, so my leaders are of course Thibaut Pinot. He will ride the Paris-Nice, Tour de France and the Lombardia in the end of the season. He will try to defend his win in 2018. Rudy Mollard will ride the Tirreno Adriatico, the French National Championships and the Bretagne Classic. Arnaud Démare will ride the Milano-San Remo. He will also be the sprinter of the team in the Giro d'Italia, so to try to get the stage wins that our sponsor wants. And finally, he will target the C-Classics Hamburg. Stefan Kung is another one of our team leaders. His first objective of the season is going to be Paris-Roubaix. Then it will be a free element in the Tour de Suisse, where our sponsor actually also wants us to take some stage wins. So we will try to win something in the time trials. And his final goal of the season is the World Championship individual time trial. Our final leader, David Gaudu, is going to ride the Ardennes Classics. He is targeting Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Then it will be a free element in the Critérium du Dauphiné, but in this race I think I will also have Thibaut Pinot as the team leader, so we will actually trying to help Thibaut Pinot to win the Dauphiné. And his final objective is La Vuelta, where we don't have a sponsor objective, but where a good result is possible, and he may actually try to take some stage wins. So as for other things that need to be done in the beginning of every career mode, I already set the training of my riders. I also set a training camp for the first week of the season. And of course, I set the pre-season fitness level of my riders. So of course, the main rider of the team is Thibaut Pinot. He's the super leader of my team, the one I want to win the Tour de France with. But we have other interesting riders in the team. We have Stefan Kung, a really strong time trialist, and so he can actually try to take some stage wins in time trials and will also play an important role in stage races which have a team time trial. Then we have Arnaud Demar as the team's top sprinter. He's quite a strong sprinter, so I expect to take quite a few wins with him. The main goals in the early part of the season for him will be Milano Sanremo, Paris-Roubaix, and the Giro d'Italia. I don't think I will take him to the Tour de France, so I will probably approach the season the same way Groupama FDJ did in the real life. Then we have also David Gaudu, a young rider, a promising rider who was fantastic in the Tour de France recently. So I really expect a lot from him, that he grows and becomes a world-class climber. We have the experienced Rudy Mollard, a strong puncher as well, so he may give us some stage wins. Another young sprinter, Marc Sarreux. I expect him to try to win some stages or some races where other strong sprinters are not present. And if he evolves well, he can become a top class sprinter. Another promising rider is Valentin Madouas. A lot is expected from him as well, and I will try to make him a strong stage racer. Then we also have Sebastian Reichenbach, an experienced rider, an all-rounder, is strong in many different disciplines. Anthony Roux, who in the beginning of the 2019 season was the French national champion, and actually I'm starting this series with the national champions that are coming from the 2018 season. I thought it made more sense since I'm starting in January the 1st of 2019. We have other interesting riders in the team, like Benjamin Thomas is a promising time trialist as well. So we have also Leo Vincent is also a really nice and interesting young rider. So yeah, we have a mix of some experience and some young riders in the team. So I think it's an interesting squad to play this career. In terms of season planning, I already set a bit of the season for many riders. So I set the Grand Tours already. All 8 riders that are going to take part in the Giro, the Tour, and La Vuelta are already set. And I also set basically the initial races of the season. And then along the season, I will update and schedule all the remaining races. So we are now on the 5th of January, and it's the day of the individual time trial National Championship of Australia, and we have a single rider taking part in this race. It's Miles Scotson. Is not the best Australian time trialist by any means, but still I will try to do my best, and if I get a top 10 finish with him, I will be pretty pleased. One other thing that I want to mention was that because of an update of the World DB that I didn't see coming, while the game was simulating the days, the individual time trial of New Zealand, the national championship, was simulated. And because the update was not complete, the stage reverted to a known issue in this game. So it was the Quebec stage. And because of that, George Bennett became the individual time trial national champion of New Zealand ahead of Patrick Bevin. So going with Miles Scotson to the individual time trial championship of Australia. Of course, the big favorite for this championship is Rowan Dennis, the world champion. It's a completely flat course, so let's see how we do. So Scotson is about to start his time trial. It's 37 kilometers long, And so without any other riders from my team, I don't really know what to expect and what to do about the effort I need. But let's see if this effort at 73 is enough for this time trial. So Scottson is now approaching the intermediate checkpoint. Let's see the time he's doing right now. And he's 39 seconds slower than the best time here, 7th best time. I think I can go a bit stronger with Miles Scottson. So let's see how the final kilometers go. So Scottson is now 3.5 kilometers from the finish line. I need to decrease his efforts a bit now. It's getting a bit harder close to the end. He now has the 13th best time in the intermediate checkpoint. Of course, Rowan Dennis beat everyone in that point. 1.3 kilometers to go. Scottson is almost at the end. Let's see, almost finishing 500 meters. And he got the 5th best time, 43 seconds behind the best time in the finish line from Alexander Edmondson. So it's a really good time. Now Nathan has, let's see what he does, 7th best, 1 minute and 5 slower. So it was worse than Miles Scottson. Now Rory Sutherland, he gets 5th. So he beats Scottson for 10 seconds. Now Luke Durbridge, I don't think he's going to be better than Miles Scottson. But he is. Wow, what a second half by Luke Durbridge. Although I'm thinking about the time compared with the time of Rowan Dennis. So now Michael Matthews, let's see what he does in the finish line. 10th best time, then Richie Port got the best time, but now Rowan Dennis, can he beat Richie Port? He does, by 1 minute. And Rowan Dennis is the Australian individual time trial champion. And I'm really pleased with the time I got with Miles Scottson, 9th best time. So I got the top 10. So this was kind of a satisfying result, top 10 with Miles Scottson in the first race I do with Groupama FDJ in this series. He beat riders like Nathan Haas and Michael Matthews. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the performance by Miles Scottson. So up next we have the road race of the National Champions of Australia. And honestly, this one, I'm going to simulate this because taking into account the route of this race, it's quite hilly, and Miles Scottson is most likely going to be dropped midway through the stage. So yeah, I won't race this one, I won't record this one, and I will go straight to the Santos Tour Down Under. So after the Australian Championships, we are now going to ride the Santos Tour Down Under. It's a 6-stage race in Australia. And for this one, my main riders will be David Gaudu as the contender for the GC, and also for the traditional Willunga Hill stage, also known as the Richie Port stage. And my other main rider for this race will be Marc Sarre. It will be the team sprinter in the Tour Down Under. So the first stage is suited for the sprinters. Sarre is among the top 10 favorites, although he is not one of the best sprinters in this Tour Down Under, but still I will try to challenge for the win with him. So the riders are now beginning stage 1 of the Tour Down Under. It begins and finishes in Adelaide. And so the same way I do when I'm riding a real life race in Pro Cycling Manager, I'm not going to put any of my riders in a breakaway today because I'm aiming at winning the stage with Marc Sarre in a mass sprint finish. So today we have a 5-man breakaway group. They have 3.5 minutes lead over the peloton. still with 113 kilometers to go in the stage. So in this time, we can look at the riders in this Tour Down Under. We have several strong sprinters in this one. Eli Viviani, Wout van Aert and Mike Tennyson, also Alexander Kristoff, Jasper Philipsen. Bora brings Pascal Ackermann and Sam Bennett. We also have John Degenkolb. Who else do we have here? We have Phil Bauhaus for Bahrain Merida, Sasha Modolo for Education First. So quite a few strong sprinters in this one. As for the GC, the main contenders are Julien Alaphilippe, Jakob Fuglsang, Alejandro Valverde, Maximilian Schachmann, Ilnur Zakarin, TJ Van Garderen, Pierre Latour, Domenico Pozzovivo, Thies Benoot. So also for the GC, there are quite a few strong riders. Oh, and there was a fall. David Gaudu fell with other riders. Ilnur Zakarin is going to abandon on the first stage of the Tour Down Under, and I need to drop some of my riders to help to bring back David Gaudu to the peloton. Let's see how this goes. Some other important riders, I saw Dan Martin here, yes, Jakob Fuglsang as well, but we are back in the peloton. Bob Jungels also fell with Julien Alaphilippe here, so maybe it was Alaphilippe falling. So with 23 kilometers to go now in the stage, there is still 1 minute, over 1 minute separating the riders in the breakaway from the peloton. I already assembled my sprint train for Marc Sarre, and let's try to use this to chase down the breakaway riders. So we are now 11 kilometers from the finish. Let's start increasing the pace with Tobias Ludvigsen now, only slightly. Let's go 88 in the effort. And I don't want to be stuck here. Let's up it a bit. Let's now go with Benjamin Thomas, Energy Gel on Olgard, and soon on Sarre as well. Let's do the same with Skotsen and Gaudu and increase his effort. Let's go back to Thomas. We cut the breakaway. Let's now go all out with Valentin Madouas. Let's see, 2.7 kilometers to go. The Bora riders are already sprinting. Let's go with Madouas now. And now let's start sprinting with Olgard and now with Marc Sarre. And can he take the stage win? It's not going to be him. And the winner is Giacomo Nizzolo. Wow, that's a surprise win for the Italian rider from Team Dimension Data, ahead of a surprising Christopher Alvorsen and the surprising Mike Tennyson. So this was kind of a weird sprint finish. The top sprinters are mostly out of the top 10 of the stage. Pascal Ackermann was 15th, Alexander Kristoff was 12th, Eli Viviani 11th. I actually should have started sprinting way sooner with Marc Sarre. He had plenty of energy left in the end, but he was only 6th in the stage, behind Jakub Maresco. Wow, that's shameful. So let's go to the second stage of this race. The game is suggesting Alaphilippe and Van Aert as the top favorites for this stage. I don't really think so. Even though the finish appears to be kind of a false flat, I don't really think the slope is enough to prevent the sprinters to win the stage. But well, let's see how this goes. I will again try to do the best I can with Marc Sarre to take the win here. So now departing from Norwood for the second stage, it's going to be again the same strategy I used for the previous one. I'm not putting any riders in the breakaway today. The focus will once more be on Marc Sarre. So we are now having 30 kilometers per hour winds, and it's sideways winds at some parts of the route. I'm going to try to create some echelons here. Let's see how this goes. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to create them, but let's try my best. I will put some riders pacing at the front and try not to drop my riders. The peloton is not really stretching. The wind is now sideways again, so it's a good chance. Let's try to increase the pace a bit and see if this works. So after this turn, the wind will come again from the side. So let's try to do the same again to put these three riders in the front. But there are other teams pacing really hard. So maybe this is not going to work the way I'm intending. And with 24 kilometers to go, maybe the best choice is actually to try to create my own sprint train. So we are now 12 kilometers from the finish line, and I have my sprint train set for Marc Sarre. Let's increase the pace a bit now with Benjamin Thomas. Energy gel on Olgard. This is going well. Now the energy gel for Sarre. Let's now pace with Madouas. We are 4.2 kilometers from the finish line. Let's see, Olgard is a bit short of energy. Let's see how this goes. 3 kilometers to go. Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be super close. Let's pace a bit now with Olgard. I cannot start the sprint. Let's follow on the wheel of Alexander Kristoff. And 1.2 kilometers to go. Let's start the sprint now. And, oh, can Marc Sarre take the win? No! It's going to be Nizzolo again. Where did he come from? That was disappointing. Wow, look at this. Sarre was in the lead, but Nizzolo came like a bullet and took the stage win. Oh, I'm so disappointed with this one. I had everything to take the stage win, but Olgard was short of energy too soon. I had to switch to the wheel of another sprinter, and I lost plenty of energy with that. Giacomo Nizzolo used the strategy I wanted to use to start sprinting a bit later. It did so, and when everyone else was out of energy, it took the stage win. So after 2 wins by Giacomo Nizzolo, a bit of a surprise, we are going to the third stage of the Tour Down Under. It's again considered as flat and as favorable for the sprinters, although most of the stage is quite irregular, and I don't really think the sprinters are going to be able to survive this one. So I will probably try to use a tactics of increasing the pace along the way to try to drop the sprinters from the contention of the stage and to try to win them with either Valentin Madouas or David Gaudu. So we are starting the stage now, and today I'm going to try to take Valentin Madouas in the breakaway. Let's attack already with him. I don't know if the peloton is going to allow an attack by Madouas. I hope they let me go. And if the opportunity presents itself for the breakaway to take the stage win, I will try to do so with Madouas. And so being so close to the intermediate sprint, I want to try to take the points here with Marc Sarre, and he's the first one here, so he's now just 1 point behind Giacomo Nizzolo. Let's try to go again with Valentin Madouas in the attack. I don't really think the peloton is keen on having my rider in the breakaway. Yeah, they start chasing as soon as he attacks. So maybe it's not going to be possible to take him in the breakaway today. So we are now approaching the second intermediate sprint. I will try to take the points again with Marc Sarre. Let's see, 1.5 kilometers to go. And we will start sprinting soon. Let's try to go now. Eli Viviani was the first one to go, and I won't be able to take the points here. Ah, that was a shame. So with 80 kilometers to go, The riders that were in the breakaway have just been caught. It's not impossible that a new breakaway can be assembled, but I couldn't put Madouas in the breakaway. The peloton wouldn't allow that. And with that, I actually expended a lot of energy with him. But now I'm going for the tactics I planned initially, to have some of my riders pacing at the front of the peloton, and to try to stretch the peloton as much as I can, and to then leave the sprinters behind with no chance to challenge for the win. So as you can see, with 60 kilometers to go, I'm trying to really stretch the peloton. I have created a few breaks a few kilometers ago, but the riders in the back always manage to get back to the front. I hope that later in the stage they won't have enough in them to get back. So we are now about 20 kilometers from the finish, and other teams also decided to increase the pace in the final few kilometers of the stage. I'm trying to get David Gaudu back in the front of the group. It's only 36 men left in the front, so it's really being a strong pace right now with this irregular terrain. So it's not easy to follow this fast pace. So we have attacks? No, it's just harder pace. Let's see what we can do. I want to leave this for, oh, we have some attacks. Let's follow on the wheel of Dan Martin. Let's see. Oh, no. Oh, wait, I got a bit confused now. No. Okay, let's keep this going. Can I use the energy gel now? Yeah, I think it's a good choice. Let's go on the wheel of Alejandro Valverde. And the pace is dropping a bit. Let's see, what are these riders doing? Let's switch to the wheel of Thibaut Pinot. Or, no, I think I messed this up. Let's move to Valverde. I'm too far behind now, and I won't be able to take the stage win. Let's start sprinting already. It's a bit of a downhill, and the riders in the front group are taking the win. And it's Smith taking the win ahead of Castroviejo. And is David Gaudu taking third in the stage? And yes, he is third in this stage, so it's quite okay. It takes 4 seconds of bonus from this one, but in the end, this didn't really go as I was expecting. And the favorites, Alaphilippe and Valverde, actually disappointed me a bit. So Diane Smith takes the win for Mitchelton Scott ahead of Jonathan Castroviejo, and I got David Gaudu in the podium of the stage, third place, and 4 seconds to help his GC contention. So Diane Smith is now the new GC leader, 4 seconds ahead of Castroviejo, and 6 ahead of Valverde and David Gaudu, who is now fourth. In the mountain classification, Mitchell Docker is still the leader. Giacomo Nizzolo still leads the points classification, but now only 1 point ahead of Marc Sarre. And David Gaudu is now the best young rider of the race. So, as I said, I wasn't expecting the sprinters to take the stage. The final few kilometers were a bit messy. I didn't really know what the best strategy was, especially after the attack by Diane Smith and Castroviejo. It was a bit of a surprise that the Australian took the win here. But yeah, I got third with Gaudu, so he was better than all the other GC contenders in this one. So it's a nice platform to go to the next stage. So we now go to the fourth stage of the Tour Down Under. It's an hilly stage, and that Category 1 climb really close to the finish is going to be the deciding factor for the stage win today. Of course, Alaphilippe and Valverde are again the top two favorites for this one, but I will try to do my best with David Gaudu or even Valentin Madouas, depending on who is feeling better. But the goal is to help Gaudu in this stage so that he can try to take the win and, if possible, sometime over the other GC contenders. So here we are beginning the stage from Onley to Campbelltown. And what a terrible day this is for my team. David Gaudu and Valentin Madouas are both on a -2 race day condition today. Ludvigsen is having a -4. That's really, really bad. The only rider with a positive race day condition is Olgard, which really doesn't matter for this stage. But yeah, so the goal is probably to try to win the stage with David Gaudu, but I'm going to try to put Valentin Madouas again in the breakaway today. The peloton didn't let me do that in the previous stage, and apparently they don't really want Madouas to go again. So with 120 kilometers still to go, we only have 2 riders in the breakaway today, Tom Skuyens and Simon Spivak. So yeah, this is probably not going to work for them, only 2 riders, even though the stage is quite short, and that they already have 4.5 minutes lead, but well, the peloton is most likely to catch them before the end. So we are approaching from the intermediate sprint. I will try to take some points here with Marc Sarre. Let's see what I can do with Sarre. And he's the first one from the peloton, so he takes 2 points and now provisionally leads the points classification. So we are again approaching an intermediate sprint, but I don't think I'm going to be able to challenge for that with Sarre because, well, but no one else was interested and he still leads provisionally. So he couldn't contend for these points because he was involved in a fall earlier and got dropped and couldn't get back in time to the peloton. So we are now starting the ascension of Corkscrew Road, and I want to pace hard with Valentin Madouas, with David Gaudu on his wheel. Let's see how this goes. Let's try to put some pressure on the other riders. And can I leave them behind? This is being really hard. Eli Viviani is still here. He's trying to go for this. I need to try an attack with Gaudu soon as Madouas is out of energy. And let's try it now. It's a strong attack by Valentin Madouas. Julien Alaphilippe is still following. Of course he's following. What else would he do? Let's try to pace hard. We're the first at the top of the climb. Alaphilippe and Alejandro Valverde are with us. Jakob Fuglsang as well. A lot of riders are still following here. So 6 kilometers downhill. Can I keep this pace? I don't really know. This is basically always descending at the same slope. So let's try to keep it in the front with David Gaudu. Valentin Madouas is here as well. Let's try to protect Gaudu with Madouas so that I can have a bit more energy near the end. Although I may stand a better chance to win this with Madouas, let's go for the sprint now with Madouas and Gaudu as well. Oh, and they cannot take it. It was too much of an effort. Julien Alaphilippe takes the stage win. Oh, I think I could have done much better. Madouas was a much better choice to win the stage. His sprint is better than David Gaudu's. He had more energy. That was a bad tactical choice. So here is the final sprint. Madouas was in the lead of this group, but then he was out of energy and Alaphilippe took the stage win. A win for the Koenig Quick-Step, Julien Alaphilippe ahead of Luis Leon Sanchez and Alejandro Valverde. Of course, Alaphilippe is now the new leader of the GC, taking the 10 seconds of bonus from today, and David Gaudu is now 5th, 6 seconds behind. David Gaudu is also now the new best climber in this competition. Alaphilippe is also the leader in the points classification. During the stage, I took 2 points with Marc Sarre. He was the provisional leader, but now Alaphilippe with this win is the new leader. And David Gaudu is also leading the best young rider classification. So I tried to attack. It didn't really work out the way I intended. Then maybe I should have focused in the downhill on trying to win the stage with Valentin Madouas. He would have had a much better chance to win this than David Gaudu. But well, I just thought about that really close to the finish line, and he was already with his energy quite depleted. So I had to
settle for 11th and 13th.
So another day, and it's the 5th stage of the Tour Down Under, and it's going to be the final chance for the sprinters to take a win. And of course, I'm going to try to do so with Marc Sarre. There aren't many other things of interest during the stage, so it's going to be basically the final sprint in this one. So the stage is now beginning, and I'm not going to take a rider in the breakaway, as usual in a sprint stage where I kind of have a chance to challenge for the win. I'm going to keep everyone in the peloton and then prepare the sprint for Marc Sarre. We have really strong winds today, so let's see if these are going to impact the race, and if in the end we might have a chance to create some breaks in the peloton and leave some of the GC contenders behind. So with 125 kilometers to go, we have 6 riders in the breakaway with almost 3 minutes over the peloton. I was checking the wind direction during this stage, and after the 2 intermediate sprints, it will be kind of sideways for a few kilometers, but I think it's still too far from the finish to try to create some gaps in the peloton. And then in the final kilometers, the wind is going to be blowing from the rear of the peloton, so it won't be possible again to create some gaps. So I guess I just need to be careful and keep my riders in the front after the intermediate sprints so that I don't lose time and energy trying to go back if a possible gap appears. So we are now 20 kilometers from the finish line and almost catching the breakaway. I already assembled the sprint train to Marc Sarre. I'm having Ludvigsen going for water, and I think he will be the one leading the train when he gets to the front. Well, I hope he can get to the front still. But well, the difference to the breakaway riders is actually increasing now. So I don't really know what's happening. Let's try to get Scotten on the wheel of Ludvigsen now and try to pace with the Swedish rider. 13 kilometers to go still. This is getting a bit tight to catch the breakaway riders, actually. I was not expecting this. So we are now 7.5 kilometers from the finish line. I'm taking Madouas in the front of my train, but this is not looking good for Olgaard. And again, he might fail to be able to lead the sprint for Marc Sarre. Let's see, let's go 20 seconds to the breakaway riders. Let's go all out with Madouas now, 4 kilometers to go still. And oh, this is going to be too tight for Olgaard. Let's see, 3 kilometers to go. He still has some energy. The Bora riders are already going. I cannot go yet. Let's sprint now with Olgaard. And let's go with Sarre now. And he's not going to be able to take the win. It's Alexander Kristoff taking the win here, ahead of Mike Tennyson and Giacomo Nizzolo again in a really good position in the end. Marc Sarre was only 7th. Wow, I don't really know what I did wrong in this one. But yeah, again, the Bora riders started so early and they completely missed the top 10. Pascal Ackermann is 11th. Sam Bennett is not even in the top 20. So really poor strategy by Bora Hansgrohe. So Alexander Kristoff taking the win for Team Emirates. No changes in the GC. Julien Alaphilippe still leading with the same time as Diane Smith. David Gaudu is still the best climber in this competition. Giacomo Nizzolo takes the lead in the points classification once again, 3 points ahead of Julien Alaphilippe and Marc Sarre. And David Gaudu also keeps the lead in the young rider classification. So I thought I was doing everything right, but yeah, it didn't go out the way I wanted. Still, Marc Sarre got the 7th place, ahead of riders like Pascal Ackermann and Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett is not even in the top 20. I cannot even see where he is. It was 31st only. And as such, we are now going for the final stage of the Tour Down Under, the famous Willunga Hill stage, the one where year after year Richie Porte is the winner. So let's see, he's not in this Tour Down Under in my pro cycling manager career. So I'm going to try to win the stage with David Gaudu, and if possible, take enough time over Julien Alaphilippe to get the win in the GC. So the riders are now departing from McLaren Vale, and we are, well, most of the team is having a really bad race day condition today. It's mostly because of the hot weather. And so today I'm going to try to put Marc Sarre in the breakaway. Of course, I'm not expecting to win the stage with him. The goal is to have him with a chance to try to go for the points in the intermediate sprint. It's not being easy. Let's try to follow Tom Squeans now and see if we can get the points in those intermediate sprints. So we are now less than 4 kilometers from the first intermediate sprint. I'm trying to keep Marc Sarre here at the front of this group. We have 9 riders in the breakaway today. I don't think any other riders are going to try to challenge for the points here. So 1.5 kilometers to go now, and I will soon start sprinting with Sarre. Let's go now and see if anyone else is trying to go for the points. No one else is, and so we can take the 5 points here. So we are again 3 kilometers from the second intermediate sprint. Let's try to use the same strategy with Marc Sarre and try to pace at the front of the group. Not too hard. I don't want to spend too much energy. Let's see if he can take the 5 points again. Still 1 kilometer to go. Let's go now with him. And I think, yeah, he's going to be able to take the points here. And he is 7 points ahead of Giacomo Nizzolo. So we are now starting the climb of Willunga Hill. Tom Squeans is the only rider in the front of the race. I'm having Sarre pacing at the front. Let's try now to maintain position with Madouas here and with David Gaudu as well. So we are reaching the top of the first time in Willunga Hill. Valentin Madouas is looking really strong today, actually a lot better than David Gaudu, so it's not going to be easy for the rider that is currently leading the mountain and young rider classification. But, well, let's see how the final ascension to Willunga Hill goes. I still have Ludvigsen protecting David Gaudu, but actually Madouas appears to be in a better shape than Gaudu. So approaching Willunga Hill again, let's try to pace now with Madouas and David Gaudu on his wheel. Let's try to increase the effort now and also use the energy gel. Oh, I already used the energy gel on Gaudu as well. I thought it was only for Madouas. So let's try to pace hard with Madouas now. 2.5 kilometers to go. Keeping David Gaudu on his wheel. Let's keep this at 94. Let's see what we can do. Maybe I'm missing the chance of taking the stage win with Madouas, but trying to go with David Gaudu. Let's now, once the energy of Madouas is over, let's now pace with David Gaudu. Can he do it? Oh, Alaphilippe and Bob Jungels are getting close. Let's try to take this. Let's sprint now. Oh, he's not going to be able to take it. It's Alejandro Valverde taking the stage win at Willunga Hill. David Gaudu is second. And the third is going to be Julien Alaphilippe ahead of Dion Smith. A really surprising result by the Mitchelton Scott rider. So Alejandro Valverde was the strongest in Willunga Hill. He took the stage win ahead of David Gaudu, and Julien Alaphilippe was third, I think, to clinch his win in the GC. Oh no, surprisingly, I didn't see this one coming. Alejandro Valverde was the winner of the GC, ahead of Julien Alaphilippe by 4 seconds, and David Gaudu was out of the podium. It was fourth on the same time as Diane Smith. Gaudu won the mountain classification though, 4 points ahead of Alejandro Valverde, so it's the first jersey for FDJ in this season. Julien Alaphilippe took the points classification with the same number of points as Alejandro Valverde. Marc Sarre, although he tried to go on the break to take the points, was only third in the points classification. The best young rider was David Gaudu, and the second best young rider was actually Valentin Madouas, so a 1-2 for Groupama FDJ in the best young rider classification. The best team in the Tour Down Under was Astana, ahead of Groupama FDJ by 43 seconds, so it was a strong performance by my team in this one. So it was a shame that David Gaudu could not take the stage win today. He was not having the best day of his life. So I was a bit surprised that Alejandro Valverde took the GC. I thought he was further behind Alaphilippe in the classification before this final stage, but apparently the bonus time he got by winning the stage, even though Alaphilippe was third, was enough for him to clinch the GC. David Gaudu was only fourth in the GC with the same time as Diane Smith. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing. So finishing the Tour Down Under, I think I'm going to leave this episode here. This is probably going to be a bit of a long one. I don't really intend to make episodes as long as this one, but well, being the first one with the preparation and all that, it had to be a bit longer. So in the next one, I will ride the Cat 11's Great Ocean Road Race, and I will probably also ride the Volta a la Comunidad Valenciana. It's going to be the first race for Thibaut Pinot in the season, so I'm really interested in that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this first episode, and I really look forward to hearing your feedback. So I really hope you do comment on my video. And if you have enjoyed this, please also click the like button. And if you're new to my channel and are interested in keep following this FDJ career, please subscribe to my channel. I will really appreciate the support, and I hope to see you all next time for another video of Pro Cycling Manager 2019. Bye!